I'm seeking a Bachelor of Business Administration from Penn State Lehigh Valley. I'm excited to kick off our Lunchbox Lady Speaker Series titled The Next Entrepreneur Steps to Starting Up. I'd like to welcome our moderator of the program, Colleen Krcelich. Colleen joined Penn State Lehigh Valley in 2020 as lecturer of business. She earned a Master of Business Administration from Lehigh University, along with a Bachelor of Science in Accounting from Bloomsburg University. Previously served as an assistant professor of accounting at Cedar-Crest College. As an entrepreneur, Colleen has more than 25 years of experience working with small to medium-sized companies, successfully managed their growth from startup to succession planning and investor exit strategies. She is also a member of the Lunchbox Ladies Council and Lunchbox Advisory Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Felix. Our program is about to begin. Please feel free to grab lunch provided by the Lunchbox Ladies Council and student activities. Also, students, please make sure you sign in for an opportunity for door prizes at the end. Before we start the presentation, I'd like to welcome and introduce the driving force behind Lunchbox Ladies, Chancellor of Penn State Lehigh Valley, Dr. Tina Richardson. Dr. Richardson is in her 6th year as Chancellor of Penn State Lehigh Valley. She has worked on leadership initiatives for women throughout her career, starting with her work at Lehigh University. She continues to prioritize this work at Penn State. Dr. Richardson is a counseling psychologist and has been recognized as a leader in higher education for her work done both nationally and internationally by the Fulbright Program, the HERS Program, and the American Council on Education. Her leadership is one reason I was so excited to join Penn State. Dr. Richardson has received numerous awards for her educational leadership and serves on several boards throughout the region.
Thank you so much, Colleen. Can everybody hear me? I'm trying to speak through a mask and be clear and articulate because I had such a wonderful introduction. I don't want to let anybody down. Thank you, everyone, for coming to today's program. I'm thrilled whenever we can gather and exchange ideas around entrepreneurship, particularly entrepreneurship as it relates to the progress of women is exciting to me. And so this is a venue that gives me an opportunity to do that. When I get to help students, I'm even more excited. And honestly, my energy level is always so high that my team is always telling me to slow down a little bit. And maybe not today. We don't have to do everything today. But I think it's important that we understand the urgency of the work that we do as educators and as facilitators of success for other people. I'm very excited about today's program because we get to hear and meet Nicol and Cory, and they have done some really great work leveraging all the resources that Penn State has to offer and to launch a business that's personally relevant to them. And I would also say relevant to me, but we'll talk about that later. So it's my pleasure to really introduce to you the sister-preneurs that are behind the company DN Organics. Before we hear from them, though, I want to say a few words about Lunchbox. Lunchbox is a signature program of Penn State, and we provide resources to support early-stage startups, individuals who want to launch a business. We provide the support services that can help you take an idea and take it to a fully sustainable company. We provide free services, and for students, that's really important. And you will hear Cory and Nicol's story because they took advantage of what Invent Penn State had to offer as students. And we know that entrepreneurs are the backbone of and the drivers of business. And as a result, we want to make sure that a part of your Penn State journey, whether you're a student, you're a staff member, you're a faculty member, or a member of the community, we want to make sure you have the resources that you need at no cost to support your entrepreneurial ideas. And so Launchbox provides many grants. We provide pitch competitions, free intellectual property and legal services, and ultimately we make it easy for individuals who have business ideas to connect with key advisors in the business community in the Lehigh Valley. And so I can't think of anything more valuable than having a Penn State network wrapped around you to help you produce success. And for Launchbox Ladies, we've been in existence for some time, and what I would say most important about that is that we have had the opportunity to hear over 800 stories from women in terms of how they got started and how they launched their businesses and what success looked like for them. And so we want to continue to do that for others. But in our path to do that, we bring people like Nicol and Cory to share their stories. So I want to thank you for coming out to today. Some of you may have gotten a chance to see Cory and Nicol when they participated in the pitch competition for the Lehigh Valley Startup event. But if you didn't hear it then, today will be a really exciting opportunity for everyone to learn yet another success story and for us to support them in their journey. So I'm going to turn things over to Nicol and Cory, but first we'll have Colleen lead things from here. Before I do that, I just want to acknowledge that we have a Launchbox Ladies Advisory Board that includes several people who are here today. So if I call your name and you're here, raise your hand so we can all acknowledge you. But our advisory board includes Catherine Bailey, who couldn't make it today, Tracy Diamani, Sharon Frazier, Kate Ginnard, Rita Guthrie, Kine Za, and Colleen Krcelich. And so we will have the opportunity to benefit from the hard work of the council, and we'll have fun while we're doing that. I'd also like to thank my intern, Felix Batista, who kicked us off today. We want to make sure we have representation of students every day in the work that we do. But we also want to acknowledge that we have a new Launchbox director, Justin Kredzky. And we are really excited about the experience that he brings as an entrepreneur, the experience that Colleen brings as an entrepreneur and professor. And we want to inspire each and every one of you to think about the work that you do in an entrepreneurial mindset. And so I'm going to turn it over. We're going to have fun and we're going to learn a lot, and then we're going to exchange ideas as time goes on of how we can encourage more entrepreneurship amongst our students and the broader community. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. I'm so happy to introduce one of the current Startup Lehigh Valley Entrepreneur Pitch Competition winners and former Penn State alums, Cory and Nicol, sister-preneurs and founders of DN Organics. We've got a lineup of questions for our entrepreneurs today to help motivate and inspire you, the next entrepreneur, or anyone you might know who has an entrepreneurial mindset. Welcome, ladies, and thank you for joining us the first time live since the pandemic. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? We'll start with Cory.
No.
There's a mute button. Is it green?
Oh yeah.
There. Okay, you should be good.
Okay. Woo. All right. I wanted to wake everybody up. That's it. Hi, I'm Cory Varona. Nice to meet all of you. First, I just want to say that I'm so thankful to be here. The Chancellor, Colleen, Kristen, Janelle, everybody, Justin, thank you so much for inviting us. It's an honor for us to be here and spend this lunch hour with you guys. And it's great because Nicole and I usually do this via Zoom. So I don't know if you guys are already kind of done with Zoom, but this is exciting to us. So I'm Cory. I'm the older sister, even though she kind of looks older than me. I was born in the Dominican Republic, and I actually moved to the United States when I was 14 years old. I graduated from Reading High School, so anybody who's familiar with the Reading area. And I went to Penn State Berks, and I graduated with a degree in accounting and finance. And I actually completed my MBA through Penn State too, through the online course. And we created the Inorganics in 2018. We started it in 2018, and we were able to launch it in 2021. So this year. So we have been in business for 8 years, for 8 months. That's not too, yeah, that was only 8 months ago. So I'm excited to be here and, share more about the business and how we got started.
Hi everybody, and I am the younger sister. I don't know if I look older, but I'm going to be running out of breath because I'm pregnant, so that's another thing. So nice to meet everybody, and thank you for having us. I graduated Penn State Berks as well. We went to the same college with a business degree and a focus in marketing in 2013, so a few years ago. And then we kind of decided to launch our own business. We always knew that we wanted to start a business. We just didn't know it was going to end up being in the hair care industry. We're both, I guess, in the financial industry with our full-time jobs, which we still have. And then we do the Inorganics as our, entrepreneur dream and our side business. So we're really excited to be here and just chat with everybody and get to know everybody. So thank you for having us.
Wonderful. So, what inspired you both to start DN Organics?
I guess I can start, and then Cory, you can add. So both of us used to straighten our hair all the time, every day basically, to make it super straight. Growing up in the Dominican Republic, that's all we knew. Our mom used to take us to the hair salon, get a Dominican blowout, and that's how we grew up, loving the fact that we could get our hair straightened and never embracing our curly hair. And then when we moved here, we kind of realized that there was something we could do to embrace our curly hair. And people, when they would see us with curly hair, they would say, "Oh my God, your hair is so beautiful." And we didn't even think our own hair was beautiful. And so I started to transition my hair to be in my natural state in 2017. And then after that, I just started learning all about, natural ingredients and products and just, sharing it with Cory. And then from there, we started a blog with a friend, and then we kind of wanted to take it to the next level to be able to make products that we could use ourselves and we felt safe and comfortable, but we could also share that with others. So that's how the journey started. And then in 2018, we founded the company and we researched, and Cory got a formulation certificate to kind of formulate at home. And then from there, if you want to share more.
Yeah, so it started with our own struggle. So it was a problem that we were having. We wanted to start our curly hair transition, and we noticed that there were a lot of ingredients that we were using that were our hormone disruptors to our bodies, right? So we said, okay, let's just start researching and learning about these ingredients. So I went and I got certified as a formulator, and I started to make products at home. So we made shampoos and conditioners and a leave-in cream, and we said, well, wow, this actually works just as good as the stuff that we were buying ourselves. So we started to do research and said, okay, well, this is something that we probably could do. And again, we always wanted to do a business together, but we never really had the background or the idea of starting a hair care. So it was all, through also Google University, Google.com, because we learned about not just researching ingredients, but also how can we connect with someone who could make our products stable. Because making stuff at home, as you guys might know, could go bad pretty quickly. So we wanted to make sure that things were safe, that it passed standards and stability. And as you guys know, the FDA does not really regulate personal care products in the United States. A lot of the ingredients that are banned in Europe and Japan are used here heavily every day. So we wanted to make sure that we were above and beyond the sulfates, and parabens and silicones, and exclude other ingredients that we know are very harmful, especially to women.
Thank you. So I'm on the flip side. I'm one of the people who in college spent 4 or 5 hours sitting in the salon getting spiral perms because I was
There
doing
you go.
curly hair. What was the first thing you did to start up DN Organics, and what were your first 5 steps?
I think the first thing which we kind of did with other ideas we've had so many ideas of businesses but we never fully executed. You just need to start and do it to fully go and get started. I think the first thing we did was we wrote a business plan, and we said if we're gonna do it, let's write a plan and kind of project where we see ourselves going in the future for the business. And we knew we had to have a good idea that the market could embrace and there was a need for it. So we knew we were our customers first, but we knew there was this bigger market out there, and so we knew that it was a viable idea. So we wrote the business plan, and then we started to research how we could find somebody, a manufacturer, that could make the product for us. After Cory kind of got the certification, I think education was the next step because Cory did take the additional classes because both of us, we don't have the beauty background or we've been working in the financial industry since we graduated college. So we really didn't have a lot of background into starting a business in the beauty industry. So those were the first few steps from what I remember.
Well, we also found out the name.
Yeah.
The original name that we wanted wasn't available because of trademark issues. So that's another thing too. Sometimes we're set on a name and you start a business and then you don't know that that name might be taken in the U.S. It might not be in PA, but if you want to go naturally, you need something that is available. So then we found out through a lawyer that we needed to trademark our name. So we did that third. We also then noticed how it was important to have a domain for our website. So even though we didn't have products or we weren't selling, we created our domain and we paid for our domain right away. And then throughout the time, we worked with the one manufacturer. So there's a lot of obstacles that we had in between. But then after working in for a whole year and a half with our products in the one manufacturer, then we had an incident where the place where we were working with had a fire, so we had to find a new place. So we started from zero. So then there were so many things in roadblocks that that kind of happened in between. But having that trademark, the domain, having our business plan, and connecting with people from the community were good because at the end of the day we needed that, whether we were going to use it at the beginning or 2 years later.
So definitely one of the challenges you faced was the fire. I can't imagine that. But what were some of the other challenges, and how did you overcome them?
Well, capital has always been a problem. The funding to fund everything it can be expensive to start your own company. But obviously, we work full time, so we've been using the funds from our jobs to kind of fund the company, and also friends and family have helped us with starting the startup money to start. But that was one of the main challenges, and then starting over because we had to find a new manufacturer. Just the time that we spent in between, finding the new place and starting over, and the formulations, the testing. It's taken about 3 years for us to feel like this is a good product. We can now sell this, and we've been testing it on ourselves. We never test on animals. It's been our friends and family, mostly Cory and I, testing everything on our hair. So that's been another challenge, just going through different samples of formulas that we think are good, but then in reality we put it on, we try it, we don't think it's good enough to kind of share with other people, and we want to make sure people love our products. And if we feel we don't love them, then we don't put them out. So that's been another challenge, just the time that it takes to kind of test everything. So, yeah.
So for now, you're all primarily self-funded. So that was another question. How did you secure capital? Friends, family, and your own job?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
And
really
grants that we've received from competitions and things like that. We applied to everything.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, another tip, I guess if you're starting your own business, always look for grants and competitions that you can participate in to help you.
So I noticed your website is also in Spanish. Was that challenging during startup?
I don't think it was too much of a challenge. I think it was just the features that we were using didn't fully translate the entire website. We're fully bilingual, and we also had our mom help us with the Spanish section. So, there was different sections that we couldn't fully translate. So that was a little bit of a challenge, and it wasn't really us. It's just the website and the theme that we were using and everything didn't allow us to. But we wanted to. We're proud of our roots, and we're proud of where we come from. And a lot of my mom's friends and people in our family that didn't understand English, we wanted to make sure that we kind of catered to them too and had like a bilingual label. I think that that it was important to embrace that and to share with people that might feel connected but then they don't understand. So we're very open and clear about both languages.
And how did you start marketing and selling your products?
I guess it's been through word of mouth in the community and mostly organic. Social media has definitely changed the game for any business right now because everything's on your phone and you can find everything, and so that has helped us a lot. So platforms like all the social media platforms, word of mouth for sure, and our friends and family have helped us to kind of push the word out.
I was gonna say what social media was really nice is that we actually opened up our Instagram, Facebook, all the social media platforms before we were selling. So we created a community. We were sharing what we were doing. We kind of have everybody who follows us is on the same journey than we are because we're sharing everything, the new formulas, how the packaging, like and what are things that they are looking for when it comes to products. So creating that community allowed us to not just start with 0 customers, right? So like we launched and that same day we were doing free sales and I think we had a ton of orders that first day. So that's another thing too. Like if you have an idea and you're passionate about it, you can start sharing stuff about your business on social media and create that community. People are gonna relate and they're gonna follow you and more than likely they're interested in your journey and in what you're going through. And that way you don't start from 0 just selling to 0 customers. You actually have people who are following you and who are part of your we call it our familia for our business. So they're part of your community and they can feel related.
Great. What advice would you share with our students, especially those that are early in the idea stage?
I would say start before you're ready. That's my number one thing. We could have a million reasons why we would think that we are not ready. And that could just, time is just going by. And at the end of the day, like, if you had that idea and you're very passionate and you could see yourself doing that one thing for technically the rest of your life, because we would love to do the inorganics full time. So we see ourselves in 5 years just running the business, hiring other people, and creating the company bigger, obviously. But right now, if you can think of yourself in 5 years, could I do this full time? If your answer is yes, then start it. Start creating a community, like I said, maybe like bring your family along, have them test it, do a survey, send it out to people, see what people think, or if they agree that the price point might be good, or that's something else that we did that I just forgot, but we actually sent out a survey, a free survey to our friends and family. I think we had about 50 emails then. And we just sent them a bunch of questions. We said, what price point would you pay for an organic product? Or, what would you like to see first? And then we got responses. Not everybody completed it, but we got responses. And if you have that response, if you have your community, usually, now being here at Penn State, you can have a collaboration with the Lunchbox and start getting people to answer questions ahead of time, then you know that you have something good or something that you can market later on. So I would say that start before you're ready, start doing your research, get people involved, and from there, it's just going to come. It's going to flow.
Yeah, I would add be flexible because things are going to change. You never know when you might have a pandemic in between trying to launch a business. So that happened to us. Our plan was that we were going to launch in 2020. Obviously, that didn't happen. So just be flexible. I think another thing was our plan was to launch with a full collection. And I don't know if this is me doing that. A lot of feedback. But we ended up launching with 2 products. So things are going to change, and so be open to that.
And so other than not pursuing your dream as soon as you want to, what's one other thing you would tell them not to do?
What not to do? Well, like I said, we have been working on it since 2018. So a lot of people would think like, oh, you guys probably work on it full time. There's people that actually do quit their job before it's completely, before you can actually run your business 100%. I wouldn't say don't quit your job right away. Even though I want you to start, don't quit. That source of income that is coming and that is stable. Because without you knowing or not, our resilience is so strong that when you really want to do something, you could do multiple things at the same time. So right now we see our full-time jobs are our main investor because they're technically, part of our funding the company. So I would say, a lot of people, like, there's a lot of things on social media where they say entrepreneurs, like, just quit your job and then you start your business. I wouldn't say that. I would say, like, actually being in corporate and learning from our companies that we work for now has allowed us to learn things that, that you're helping your actual company now, right? So we learn so much and we wouldn't really quit until we're completely, we would say completely stable with the inorganic. So I would say that for sure. Don't do that.
I would say don't keep it to yourself. Sometimes we think like, oh, my idea is so good, I can't share it because other people will steal my idea. Nobody can do that thing or that idea or that product like you can. So just share it with everybody because you never know who's listening or who can help you or who has a connection that can take you further. And I think that has helped us a lot because we tell everybody about our products and what we're doing. And so you never know who's around you that might have a network that can support you. So don't keep it to yourself.
Yeah, and you reminded me too, like a lot of people when we started the company said, well, you guys want to go into hair care? Like, that's an oversaturated market. Like, why would you get into that? And I think that everything is oversaturated. Like, you go to the supermarket and there's a million types of soda cans or chips or anything, right? So I think it's like Nicole said, like, you can just do that one thing good. You're going to have people. There's 7 billion people in the world. So you're going to have people who are going to resonate with you and your business.
Great. Very, very true. So how can someone go about getting your products?
Well, today we had free samples. And they're also on our website, theinorganics.com. You can find all our products there. We have free samples for anybody who wants to try first. I think that's something we wanted to do as curly girls. Like, we knew trying a lot of different products that we sometimes didn't end up using. We wanted to make sure we had samples for people to try it because we know you're going to love it, so you'll come back for the full size. And then we are in some local salons as well. We're in 2 salons in Pennsylvania and 1 in Florida. One is in Bryn Mawr, and then the other one's in Wyomissing near where we're based, and then there's 1 in Central Florida. And there's, I guess 3 in Pennsylvania and 1 in Florida. Yep.
That's great. Well, thank you for all your motivations and expertise you've shared with us. Can we get a round of applause? We've got some time for questions from the audience.
Ask away. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. So we opened the bank account as soon as we had like the name and everything. We opened our own bank account for the business, and all the fundings or anything that we would get, we just deposited there. And everything has been. I'm an accountant, so the accounting part we kind of had it like, we did QuickBooks from the beginning, so we could get statements and things like that. So yes, always separated and create an LLC. That's another thing too. We made our business our LLC, limited liability company. So yes, don't mix it with your taxes because that could get messy. Well, there's just so many things too. Like when you're not just for taxes, but I think for your own business expenses to to make sure that you're tracking how much you're spending and how much you're bringing in as far as income. At first, the first few years, we were just expending, in marketing, doing the formulas. So the funding that we had, we're like, technically, we wanted to know how much money we were using from that first. We were not generating income. And then later on, obviously, as we then adding income into it, and you want to do the report to say, okay, this is how much I made, this is how much I spent, and you don't know what you're doing on your daily accounts, on your daily checking accounts. You're spending things, without, I want to say without control, but then you're also mixing in like daily living stuff. So you want to make sure that you know that your business is doing well. Yes. Yes.
Well, I think you also had resources from that certificate that she got. Like, she got a lot of resources, like, of certain, like, databases that you can pull all this information from for the beauty industry and, like, manufacturers and things like that.
Asking questions. Like, for example, like my teacher, my professor that taught me the certificate, she's in California. So I would just ask her anything. And, we send her emails and talk about the formulations with her. And she said, well, I think you should really consider a manufacturer, Cory. And then from there, like, we just started to literally Google. And then from there, we connected through that Google, we connected to that database. And then we started to, like, look, actually, the manufacturer is here in PA. So that's another thing. Our products are made in Pennsylvania. And we could, like, literally drive and go and see how things are going. So that was another thing that was really awesome. I love it.
Thank you. Well, you have to follow a lot of the networks that offer the grants. We follow a lot of different accounts. Well, obviously through the Launchbox, we connected with the startup Lehigh Valley competition, and we knew that was a grant possibility, so we obviously applied to that. Through the Launchbox, we got another grant. I guess people also send us things, like, because we're sharing everything that we're doing, and they're like, hey, you guys should apply to this. So that's why you don't keep it to yourself. You want to share with other people so that they can send you stuff. And so it's just, it goes on and on, just that cycle of people that know that we're doing a business and want to share. And also the Launchbox sends us a bunch of information for grants and things like that. And us just being on the lookout for anything that we can apply to. Yeah.
There's, like, an organization called Hello Alice. And they're funding, they help fund women-owned business. And, that's a big thing, too, now. So once you connect to that network and you can apply to through their grants, then you connect to other ones, There are big corporations who do it, like FedEx does a big grant. UPS,
Target has a lot of great programs.
Yeah,
that we've been
so, like,
applying
don't
to.
be afraid. We actually applied to one that was a nationwide. It's called the Poderistas, and they're different, like, corporations who fund it. And we actually made top 5. And just by making top 5, we connected with, like, other grants opportunities. So, like, even if you don't make it, then you could just connect with that network, and they send you information that you can apply later on. No, not yet. I know they do have funding and opportunities, but we haven't really reached out that area yet. Women organizations, like, are non-profit organizations, or? Not particularly that, but I know that there's, like, a lot of groups like Hello Alice. They're, like, they fund women-owned businesses. Also, like, not just organizations, but I think other women-owned companies. Like, there's a lot of, like, we made a lot of friends through social media. We actually never met them in person, but they're, like, women-owned, like, skincare, or women-owned, like, fashion clothing line. And, like, through those connections, like, we tag along and say, hey, check this out. And then they tag us too, and they say, well, you check this out too. So then also that's another thing, collaboration with other brands is a big, huge thing. Like, you could create, like, giveaways, and then you can kind of have, like, some of their audience come to your page, and then your audience could go to theirs. So always collaborate, always help other fellow women-owned businesses. I think that the more we help and the more we unite, we could reach, a larger audience and also help other people. Because at the end of the day, um, our business is about instilling confidence in your natural beauty. So we want to make sure that, that it's not just a hair care brand. We want to have a mission along with it. We want to help, and we want to bring that confidence so that you can also embrace and love your natural hair.
Yes. Whoever wants to go first.
It was pureza, which means pure in Spanish, and that was already taken. It was a really cool name.
So we just went with our names together. So my first name and then her middle name, Dahlia Nicol, but it's just easier DN. So DN Organics. Yeah.
Good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of plans.
Yeah.
So technically, right now, thankfully, we have been able to make sales every single day. So technically, we see our revenue to point to be our next investment into the company. So we're investing everything that we're generating to our company. I think that there's more that we can do. We're very hands on, so a lot of the things that you see, like packaging, things like that, we're very like our own, like, ideas and things like that. I think right now we're at a point where we want to invest in the company and bring more of the industry leaders who can help us scale to finally, like, our main goal is to make it to a retailer. We want to. I think that there's retailers out there that don't have many women of colors products. So in order for us to do that, we need to be a part with every other product who are on those retailers. So we want to invest in that and branding again, and kind of like all the money that we made, kind of reinvest it back into the company.
Yeah, and I think another thing that we've tried to do is apply to a lot of the retailer accelerators so that they can help us learn more about the retail industry and how we can get into that in the future. And also just education and just learning as much as we can to kind of take it to the next level. So that's what we're hoping for next year, and also bringing more products to the market because people want to see us having a full collection. So that's like the next plan. Because 2 products is great, but they want everything. They want the shampoo, they want the conditioner. So that's the next step for us.
How do we plan it in the future? Well, right now we use a lot of our social platforms, so we're planning on doing more advertising through paid ads, like on different social media platforms. We're also working with different people that, to connect us with more with PR, and getting featured in like magazines and like in more articles and things like that. And also like another thing that we found is being in subscription boxes. So like there's a lot of subscription boxes that you can bring in your products, and then people could try them. So we tried that with like a curly box that was really cool. So there's different avenues. Like I think that, right now we're just exploring them, testing them, and like taking them one by one and seeing what's helped, like what resonates with the audience the most. And then from there, once we like, we're just 8 months in business, so we see like what has done better. And then also including influencers. We have a lot of friends, a lot of people who are influencers that we reach out. That they, that's another area of marketing too in social media that has helped us a lot. So it's just testing and see what does well.
Oh, yeah, that definitely has helped, like being 2 people running it instead of 1. I think it helps because we both have different ideas and personalities, and we kind of keep each other in check. So, and the support, obviously, it's harder when you do something by yourself. It's not like you can't do it. It's just, for us, it helps, and we're very similar too in like our journey of transitioning to curly hair. So that helped a lot, and just, yeah, it's just great.
Personally, don't think I could have done it without her. Yeah. I know, it's really, it's true. Sometimes it could be really stressful, and anxiety could be insane. And sometimes there's days where, like, I'm like, Nicole, I really can't do this today. And then she's like, don't worry, I got it. And then she posts or finishes emails and things like that. So I feel like solopreneur and a lot of the friends that we have who are also only themselves in their business say that they wish they had a partner. And then, having your sister who, you know since day one, is that partnership that we're never going to break. This is always going to be together. So, like, having a friend or a sister or a family member who's there to support you could definitely take you far.
Yeah, and there's like places or things that we can't do, like, or dates that we can't make together, so one of us can cover. So that has helped a lot, just for us to have each other's back and kind of help with that.
Yes, of course I did. This is all I use.
This is all we use.
I'm the walking billboard. That's another strategy.
Yeah. Have the samples with us, and we give it to everybody we see. Yeah.
Yes. Thoughts?
I think we knew we wanted to do it. I think it was just the passion behind the idea that we were like, we can't give up now. Like, we have gotten this far. We're gonna keep going. And I think because we had our family involved too, and saying, like, they're like our biggest supporters. So they're like, you guys can do it. They believe in us more than we believe in ourselves, to be honest. So like they knew that we could do it, and I think that's what kept us going. The fire actually ended up being a blessing in disguise. To be honest, we were really disappointed when it happened, but it made us find a better manufacturer. So we ended up getting a manufacturer that was giving us a better service, a better product, and now we're like, we love working with them. So the relationship that we have with the new manufacturer, we knew we couldn't get with the old one, and maybe the fire was just the thing we needed to go and find a new place. So actually sometimes, like, things that set you back, in the end, are a blessing because it took us further. And also made us realize that we didn't really need to launch with a full collection. Like, we really needed to focus on products that we knew were good. And so those two that we have right now, we know people love them. And so now we're working on the next ones, and we're taking time because we're small, but we know people are going to love it. So, yeah.
Great. Well, we are just about out of time, so thank you again to our wonderful speakers, Cory and Nicol, for sharing their insights and steps they took to start and launch their business.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you also to Dr. Richardson for your supporting efforts to inspire our students and their entrepreneurial spirit.